Boom. All right, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Biotech Boom, a series where we're talking about biotechs. It was a very eventful day, not only in terms of price action, but in news as well. So I've got a lot to talk about with you guys. As always, we'll cover each topic that we're going to be discussing, and then we'll dive into each one individually. In front of us, of course, TradingView. We will cover each of these stocks in this order. Sorrento, got a lot of news to cover there as well. Sorrento, Moderna, Innovio, Novavax, and Vaxart. We will take a look at each of these. I will give you my technical analysis on all of them. Okay, in terms of news, we have this big piece of news that really did set a trend for this space as a whole. U.S. pauses Eli Lilly's trial of a coronavirus antibody treatment over safety concerns. So we're not covering Eli Lilly stock today. I know they were down a few percent, but we'll just take a look at this, have an understanding, because of course you need to understand what's going on in the sector as a whole to give you some insight as to what could occur within these individual stocks that we're playing. On to what we all want to talk about. Sorrento got some big news here, and then some big news on the downside as well. I mean, after hours movement as I'm recording this is absolutely savage. So we'll cover that. Don't worry. Sorrento Therapeutics awarded antibodies patents. Great piece of news. Right here, another great piece of news. Sorrento furthers mesenchymal stem cell program to the pipeline of COVID-19 rescue therapies. Another great piece of news, right? Everything's going well for Sorrento. Sorrento was up what? We're up 4.7% on the day, up even more so earlier in the day. I am recording this, for those of you who haven't caught on yet, on Tuesday, so I will be posting this a day later, but I am recording this on Tuesday, late enough on Tuesday, though, to have seen that crazy downside price action after hours in Sorrento. Okay, so this is what caused that. Sorrento COVID-19 R&D October 13, 2020 pipeline call details released. Okay, so I couldn't find it anywhere. I've been looking, I've been refreshing. You guys, I can't find any of the information that led to, like, any of the specific information that led to that like 15% downside. I believe that's what the current after hours price movement is down 15%. So Sorrento's getting absolutely pummeled right now. I'm sure tomorrow we will have some insight as to what that is, but right now I just don't know. So stay tuned. Of course, I will keep you guys posted on it. We'll definitely talk about it sometime later this week. Then moving on, Moderna, always got to cover Moderna. Moderna's coronavirus vaccine candidate advances to regulatory review in Canada. Good piece of news for Moderna. Very technically bullish on Moderna right now, so we will take a look at it on the charts. I'm excited to cover Moderna specifically and Crispr on the charts as well. I'm very technically bullish on Moderna and Crispr right now. So Crispr Therapeutics and Vertex receive priority medicines prime designation from EMA for CTX-001 and SCD. So this isn't COVID related, you guys, but I do want to start covering Crispr because I'm very excited about this. And yeah, it really sparked, as I told you guys in a recent video covering Crispr, this was the first biotech that really got me into trading biotechs and honestly interested in the biotech sector as a whole. So I will keep you guys tuned on Crispr for those of you who are interested. I personally think it's extremely interesting, but I will throw it at the end of the videos if you guys don't want to stick around. As always, before we do get into it, I will ask you guys to please give the video a like if you go on to gain value from it, or if you're subscribed, or not subscribed, or I'm getting ahead of myself, or if you're invested in any of the stocks that we're talking about today, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and want to catch more content like this. And of course, check out my complete portfolio daily newsletter, first link in the description. If you want to know not only literally every trade in my entire portfolio, but receive a daily newsletter talking about the trades I make. I don't only talk about my trades as well. I do talk about sectors that are exciting me right now. So for example, Tuesday morning when everything was looking green, I don't know what it's going to look like tomorrow when I post this, to be honest, but I did talk about this sector today. I gave you guys my thoughts, technical analysis, threw in some charts in there. So if you guys want daily updates from me in real time, like as I do send it out while the market's actually open, check out Complete Portfolio Daily Newsletter. Do a lot of work really hard on that, and I do take pride in it. So shameless plug right there. First link in the description. I appreciate it if you guys check it out. If not, no worries. Let's get into it. So we will kick it off. Of course, we will establish some fundamental understanding of what's going on here, and then we'll get into Sorrento and then just kind of bang out some of these charts. All right, so Eli Lilly paused. Eli Lilly's phase 3 trial of its active 3 monoclonal antibody treatment for the coronavirus has been paused due to potential safety concerns. The active 3 trial is designed to test a monoclonal antibody developed by Eli Lilly in combination with remdesivir, an antiviral with emergency use authorization for the virus. It's one of several ongoing trials as part of the National Institute of Health's active program designed to accelerate the development of vaccine treatments in partnership with the pharmaceutical industry. So we're not going to dive too deep into this. Again, we won't even take a look at Eli Lilly's chart. I do believe they're down about 3% today. So actually, I take that back what I said earlier. This didn't have a very negative impact. If anything, it had a positive impact on the rest of the sector. As you can see here on the watch list, Sorrento is what did Gilead and Regeneron do? So Gilead down, Regeneron up about 1%. Those are the big players. Sorrento did well today, but again, unfortunately, what we're going to cover in a little bit definitely disrupted all the gains it made today. But for the most part, in terms of vaccines at least, I guess Eli Lilly is a treatment stock, or a treatment is focusing on a treatment as opposed to a vaccine. So it makes sense that it didn't really impact that. But again, Sorrento did well. Gilead, Regeneron fairly flat. Regeneron doing well as well. So yeah, it really didn't have much of an impact, even on the stock itself. It was only down a few percent, which is surprising. But keeping in mind, you guys, Eli Lilly, Gilead, Regeneron are all huge companies, like huge market caps at least. Like that's what I say when I talk huge companies. They have very high market caps. So a 2 to 3% move down for news like this does make fundamental sense, which is pretty surprising in this crazy, just hype-driven volatile market. But 2 to 3% makes pretty good sense for this news. It's not a huge deal. It's a bump in the road, but it's not it's not a complete failure, you know. So let's move on to some Sorrento, and then we'll get into that. Again, the U.S. Patent Office, great news here, has awarded Sorrento Therapeutics, antibody therapeutics that binds CD38 into disulfide bridging conjugates. Shares are up 5.5%, 30 minutes ahead of the close. So again, Sorrento looking very good over the course of this day. This just came out. Obviously 30 minutes ahead of close, but huge bump in the road with that presentation. Let's go on to this as well, though. This came out yesterday, Monday. So Sorrento Therapeutics enters into an exclusive license agreement with Personalized Stem Cells to acquire global rights to its adipose-derived mesenchymal stem cells, which have been cleared for a phase 1 clinical trial by the FDA. So this is great news for those of you guys who have been around for a while. You guys know I'm an absolute geek about health. I do consider myself a biohacker, so I have been very interested in stem cell technology and the application of stem cells in the human body, primarily endogenous, so your own stem cells, injecting your you isolate stem cells from your own blood plasma and re-inject, spin them in a centrifuge, re-inject them. Not going to get super deep there, but this hit close to home for me. This makes me even more long-term bullish on Sorrento, just because again, they're not only focusing on COVID, although this is focused around COVID. If they're doing stem cell stuff, they're working on cancer treatments. They're doing so many cool things that outside of COVID that I personally think are very interesting, and that's why I want to before we get negative, before we go to that 15% crash after market, I just want to let you guys know that I think Sorrento is a very cool company. I've said that many times, you guys know that. But Sorrento I think it has a very bright future ahead of it. I think the long term is still pretty unaffected. I will have to take a look at, even in regard to what they're doing in regard to stem cells and their cancer treatments, whatnot. What else is in their pipeline as opposed to only COVID, the COVID treatments, the tests. I think Sorrento has a very bright future, but the short term, especially if we get wind of what happened today specifically, if it's not even out yet, if the news isn't even out yet, and that's solely insiders who were watching the presentation selling and causing that 15% dip in the price, then it's probably some pretty detrimental news. That's just kind of my hunch. That's what I'm guessing. And tomorrow is, we'll see. You guys will know this at the point that I post this tomorrow, but I do imagine it's going to be a pretty bloody day today. So it's probably pretty bloody today. Again, when you guys are watching this, I'll hop into the comments. I'll talk to you guys about this tomorrow if you guys want to talk. But yeah, I'm sorry I'm posting this one a little late. I just had to backlog it. Okay, so that said, let's get on to this. Again, this was the news, and again, I will hop in the comments tomorrow and talk to you guys about this if you want to talk about it once we catch wind of the specifics of this. But this was definitely it. Sorrento Therapeutics Inc. today released details about its upcoming COVID-19 pipeline update call and webcast on October 13th. That's today. It's Tuesday. And it was 100% the contents of this call, the specifics within this call. I did not watch it. If any of you guys know this, I have to imagine the news will come out by the time I release this. But yeah, it was definitely the contents of this. That said, again, I'll hop in the comments. I'll talk to you guys later, but let's get straight into the technicals. So Sorrento was looking very strong technically. I believe we were... Okay, so Sorrento was looking very strong technically prior to this after hours move. So again, it's not showing here. I'm not gonna turn it on, but I'm sure many of you guys know this, especially if you're watching this. Sorrento is now down roughly 14 to 15% after hours, at least prior to record, right before I recorded this. That was the current after hours price movement. So before that, it was looking very good. We're at the lower side of this upward channel. I was expecting us to definitely come up and retest the top side of this, again, ascending channel. That would have brought us around to the $15 mark, $14-15 mark, depending on where it hit, probably like $15. And I was expecting that. And definitely, if this press release did go well today, I think that would have been the catalyst to a significant move up to go on to ultimately retest this top line of resistance. But we are now at, I believe we're at like $10. So right now we're at like the $10 mark, like just scratching the single digits, which sucks, you guys. That sucks, but that's just the game sometimes. That is what happens when you're playing in such a highly news-driven, performance-driven sector like biotech. Okay, so that's just how the game goes, you guys. If you're taking an L on this one, trust me, I was positioned in Sorrento personally. I'm going to take an L tomorrow on this individual position, but that's why I have plenty of other positions in my portfolio, you guys. I always want to condone this to you. This doesn't only apply to biotech, it applies to literally your entire portfolio. Always hedge yourself. Never put all your eggs in one basket. It doesn't matter how bullish you may be on a stock, on a company, on a project. Always diversify. Always diversify your portfolio. Sorrento is a very small part of my overall portfolio, so it will sting, but it's not going to crush me. Okay, so again, sucks. It was looking very strong. We're now down here. I don't know. Again, I will have to wait to see the news. I don't know if this is overblown. I don't know if this is shock or not. But again, I have to imagine if I could. I was digging for a solid half an hour. I couldn't find anything, and tomorrow it will come out. But again, if there's no public news, if not even I could find it with all the digging that I did, and it's only insiders causing that after hours price action, it's probably pretty bad news, you guys. So that sucks, but again, we'll see what happens, and I'll know. At least we're in this together, right? Okay, so that's Sorrento. Let's move on to Moderna. Moderna doing well today. Moderna has been looking very strong, you guys. I still hold true to what I said probably a week or so ago now, that Moderna is on its way up to ultimately test this line that was once support and use it as a new line of resistance. Again, just right off the bat, that would take us to 93. If it hits it when I think October 21st. Again, you guys, this could happen. This could absolutely not happen. I doubt this will happen. But October 21st, if this plays out accordingly, 93, 94 bucks. We'll see if that happens. Keep in mind, you guys, I do think that it is inevitable that at some point it will ultimately test this line that was once support over the course of its rally up. As a line of resistance, TA 101. Keep in mind, the further this line expands out, the higher the price target will be at the time. So say like November 12th, just roughly, we'll expand this out even more. November 12th, November 17th, 15th, whatever, it's like at 105. Okay, so just an example, the further out it expands, the higher the price target will be as to when it will test that line of resistance. I think it will, though, at some point. When is obviously the question, but I think it will ultimately test that line of resistance. So let's go into some news here. So Moderna's coronavirus vaccine candidate is now under regulatory inspection north of our border. The company announced Tuesday morning that it has initiated a rolling submission of mRNA 1273 with Health Canada, the country's healthcare authority. The rolling adjective means that the regulatory body is reviewing a submittal while it's still undergoing clinical testing. The regulatory parses and analyzes data from the study or studies as it comes in and makes its decision whether or not to approve the candidate when it feels it has received sufficient information to do so. So this is good news. It sounds to me like Canada is just getting this regulatory body, whoever is overlooking Moderna's trials, of course, is just getting more involved, which is always good. I think that's great. You want to be involved. You want to be involved with the process, step-by-step basis, to understand progress and what's happening, what's going on. It also gives you I'm kind of just speaking from intuition right now, but it just gives you a better. It almost makes you. It gives you like an insight into the company. Okay, so it gives you get out of here. Sorry about that. But it gives you some insight as to, again, it's almost like having a member on the team of Moderna. So that's good. That's good news. You want that inside access just to have a better idea of what's going on. Obviously, this isn't child's play. This is very serious things we're talking about in this entire sector. You can't just go whipping things out. I've said this across the whole time, the whole thing. That's why across the whole span of me covering this sector, you can't. That's why you have to be patient, you guys, with this sector. These are very tall tasks that these companies have taken on, and that they're being relied upon, and very serious things, very serious products that they're working towards and trying to provide. So, again, just have some patience. But this is good news. This is obviously good news for Moderna. I did just give you guys my TA on it. Again, depending on where it hits this, I think it will bring us to the $95 to $105 region over the coming month, and that's I'm not telling you guys to do anything. I'm not saying that it's going to do that or not. That's just what I'm thinking might happen. Okay, let's move on to Inovio. We'll just look at these three real quick, you guys. I will be honest, I like barely look at these charts. So I'm going to look at them with fresh eyes. We're just going to do some kind of like right off the bat first impressions on these. Okay, so Inovio is looking kind of healthy. If you zoom in here, like this is it's showing signs of strength, which is good. It's not breaking down any further after that news of their trials being halted. So that's a good sign. I'm not sure if there's any news that's come out. Please let me know in the comments down below. Again, I wanted to keep this one pretty short because I knew we were going to be talking about Sorrento for a long time. Please let me know, you guys, if what the progress is on Inovio's, because I know the reason their trials were halted is because of the delivery mechanism. So that weird little almost EpiPen looking thing, not really an EpiPen, but you guys know what I'm talking. It almost looked like like the ear temperature gauges. But that's what their delivery mechanism for their vaccine looked like. That's why the trials were halted, is because the FDA was a little sus of that. So let me know, you guys, what the update on that is from a pure technical perspective. You can see, I don't know. I think this is a pretty fair trend line right here. I wouldn't be surprised. It looks like Inovio wants to make another run up. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see a test of this uptrend. You can see here it's used this multiple times, even like disregard this big move up here. It has used this. This looks like a pretty fair trend line. Aside from this, again, this inorganic growth, this looks like a nice organic line up. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see Inovio come up here and test, which would be like the $14 region. So it's currently at $12.80. I mean, that's a solid little move up. That's like a 7% move up. So that would be good. But again, it applies to all of these. I say this every time, you guys, but it's true. If any of these releases any significant data, either positive or negative, any significant piece of news, these stocks could move real significantly, real quickly. Okay, and we've seen it before. We know it can happen again. So keep in mind. We'll just keep an eye on all of these, and big moves are definitely not out of question in any of these. But I would, from just like a trading perspective, expect it to come up to like the $14 region pretty soon. Novavax did break out of this wedge to the upside. That looks good. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Novavax kind of similar to Inovio, showing signs of strength. You're seeing some volume come back here, which is kind of nice big buy volume bar. That was today, obviously up 6.4% today. Good sign. I'm not sure what happened in terms of Novavax, you guys. Again, please let me know. Talk in the comments down below. I'm just keeping tunnel vision. You guys know that, but I still want to talk with these about you guys. I know many of you are interested in some of these plays, so I want to let you guys know what I'm thinking specifically about the charts. Okay, so Novavax, again, looking good. Did break out of this wedge pattern, and it's usually a good sign, breaking out to the upside. It would make sense to me. You're just seeing higher lows here. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see Novavax breach this high. So this high back here in mid-September. A few 4-hour candles struck this area right at the 125 mark. 125, solid psychological even there. Wouldn't surprise me at all to see it come up, and I do expect it, just looking in this pattern, to make a higher high. So I would not be surprised at all to see a $130 Novavax. It's currently $117. It's another $13. It's 9-10% gain right there. So Novavax looking good. I would expect it to, it spent so much time around the $150 region, which is another significant psychological even, that if it does continue to go up, if we get some good news from Novavax, it would not surprise me at all to see Novavax come up to the $150 level, where it spent so much time at such a significant line of resistance back here. It wouldn't surprise me to see it come up to 150s, but again, it will take news to catalyze a move up like that. Vaxart's a solid move up today. So Vaxart saw an 8.7% move up today, significantly higher than that. So Vaxart was up as high as $8.40 today. That's a crazy gap up. So it gapped up like crazy. Let's actually go. I actually want to go to, let's go to like the 5 days, get to the 5-minute candles. So you can see here, gapped up crazy. What is that? What's that percentage gain? Do I got the price range in here already? Where the heck is the price range? I hate when I can't find the, so there we go. Sorry. So price range, let's see. Why? No. Hold on 1 second, guys. Okay, price range, there we go. My bad. Okay, so from $7 up to, we gapped up 20% this morning on Vaxart. So that's very impressive. You can see here it did not last long. Moderna showed a similar pattern, gapped up significantly this morning. Not as significantly, not 20% significantly, but it was looking good. And you can see here Vaxart is did correct, but it held around here, which is still, I mean, you guys, that's still what, like a 10% move up, 8 to 10% move up over the course of the day. Obviously, it closed the day at 8.9%. So 8.8%, so about 9% up. Yeah, so like it held steady over the course of the day, which is good. Still up significantly on the day. That gap up bull is crazy, and we're seeing a lot of volume here. You can see all this volume on Vaxart. Let's go back to the 4-hour candles to look at that volume as we zoom out. Huge, again, just huge buy candle right there. Not huge, but definitely more significant than it's been since mid-September. So that's good. You want to see volume. It did break out of this. I mean, this looks like the jankiest bull flag you've ever seen. Kind of just a descending triangle here too. Not even though. I don't know what happened in terms of Vaxart. You guys, please let me know down in the comments below. Educate me. I always love learning from you guys. That's why I always say that. I truly do learn from you guys. But let me know why Vaxart popped up today. It looks good. It wouldn't surprise me at all for Vaxart to set a higher high and ultimately come up to test this area that I've had an arrow drawn or a line drawn for so long. It's spent a lot of time around here, kind of similar to Novavax, just around here. Obviously not the absolute top. It's going to be very, very difficult in my opinion. Like, this was hype. This is what hype does. It will be very, very difficult in my personal opinion, unless we get some great news once again to reach these previous highs that we saw back in mid-July, specifically for Vaxart, but many of these other stocks as well, unless we see like groundbreaking news. But from a technical perspective, I think we could. I mean, just because on a macro time frame, Vaxart is very obviously making, these are higher highs. It is, although it is showing strength, it's been around here for a couple weeks now. It's been floating around this $7 area for a couple weeks now. It's still technically, this is a lower high, and it wouldn't surprise me to see a lower low. Although it did break out of this kind of medium-term, short-term downtrend, it's tough. It's tough. But maybe they release some good news. I'm not sure. Let me know, you guys, once again. But from a technical perspective, I won't be bullish on Vaxart unless it passes. If it's able to close the daily candle above $9.40, if it can close the daily candle at $10, then I'll once again get bullish on Vaxart. But until then, I'm not convinced that it isn't just making more lower highs and ultimately lower lows. So hopefully this isn't a bounce for those of you who are invested. Again, I'm not personally, but let me know if you are. Let me know if you ate well today, and let me know if you played it successfully. So congrats to you if you did, but let's move on to the last. Oh, actually, no, not last, but BioNTech quickly, and then we'll talk about Crispr and then close it out. Okay, so BioNTech is bouncing very, very nicely. Okay, so BioNTech, again, once it did break out of this descending triangle, it broke out to the upside very well. You can see it on a very steady climb. And it wouldn't surprise me to see BioNTech. It looks like it's playing out an inverse head and shoulders right here. That's what it kind of looks like. It's kind of a sloppy head and shoulders, but that's what I see with my eyes. And you can see here, boom, because it's inverse, right shoulder, head, left shoulder. What that means is that it will very likely come up to test its previous high at $105. So you're looking at another solid 15-20% move up there. That's pretty solid, 15% move up. But I do think that it will likely play out this head and shoulders. It's showing a lot of strength here. There's been a lot of green. This is nice organic growth, not sloppy growth like we've seen back here. So it's looking strong. And again, keep saying this, the further we progress, the further these companies move down their trials, the more staying power they have, the closer they get to effective vaccines, effective treatments, whatever it is they're working on, the more fundamentals take the reins and the less speculation takes the reins. So this was a lot more speculation, a lot more news-driven hype and speculation. This is fundamentals, and that's what I like to see in these companies. That's the organic growth I like to see. That's similar to what we're seeing in Moderna, is organic growth. It's not speculative growth anymore. It's fundamental organic growth, and that's what I like to see, especially for plays that I'm engaging in long-term, medium to long-term. You want to see that organic growth, not these multiple gaps up over and over again. So that is the COVID sector. Let's close out with some Crispr. Again, great news for Crispr, super exciting. Crispr Therapeutics and Vertex Pharmaceuticals Incorporated have announced the European Medicines Agency has granted their experimental autologous ex vivo CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing therapy, CTX001 priority medicines designation. The therapy has been granted prime designation for severe sickle cell disease treatment. So great news. Again, CRISPR is, you guys, of all of these companies, CRISPR is definitely the most revolutionary. I'm not saying, actually, I do think, I personally believe this will change the world. I do believe this technology, gene editing technology, will significantly change the world more than these. These are all attacking problems, very significant problems today. But the cool thing about CRISPR is that, say if this technology is refined 50, 100 years from now, probably less because of Moore's law, because the advancement of technology in medicine is exponential. It's not linear. So it wouldn't surprise me, and honestly, like 15, 20 years, that cancer isn't even a thing, because we're able to edit the genes that cause cancer and just make humans cancer proof and almost impervious to many of the just diseases. Like many of just the very incurable things like cancer. That's the best example I can think of off the top of my head right now. Things like cancer, things that aren't directly curable and very difficult to treat, that we just completely eliminated with gene editing technology. Again, that's not happening tomorrow. That's not happening maybe even 5, 10, 15 years. Who knows how long. But I think within our lifetimes, within the majority of our lifetimes, I know we got some older audience in here. Maybe in your lifetime too. Let's hope so. The Waves family lives long. That's a fact. Okay, strong. But yeah, no, super exciting technology. We will take a quick look at the charts and we'll close it out. But again, you guys, I will just cover CRISPR every now and again. Editas is a great play too, but super exciting medicine. CRISPR is looking so freaking bullish to me. I do think we will ultimately come up to retest this upward channel. Very conservative channel too. You could draw it like that if you wanted to. So technically you could draw this channel like that and it would bring it up to like $150. I think this is very conservative. I think this is a very conservative channel right here, and that would bring it up to $130 in the near future. And I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that happen. Okay, so I'm super excited about that. Again, you guys, if you want to know my exact plays, my exact CRISPR calls, my exact Moderna Sorrento calls, how I'm going to handle my Sorrento position tomorrow. And again, you guys, I am releasing this one late. I do apologize for that. But if you want like literally real-time updates from myself, I do send these out during trading hours, give you guys my take on not only biotech, but blockchain, crypto, gold, silver, EVs, everything that we talk about so much on the channel. Again, complete portfolio daily newsletter. Check it out if you're interested. If not, no worries at all. Throw a video a like if you haven't already. It really helps out the channel. Really helps me out as well. I do appreciate it. Subscribe if you're still around and not subscribe. I do appreciate you regardless if you stuck around at this point. I always appreciate all of you. I don't know how many of you stick around to the end, but know that I appreciate you more than everyone else who watches. Okay, so I appreciate you guys. Drop a comment down below. Again, if you have any insight as to any of the other companies, BioNTech, Inovio, Vaxart, any fundamental news as to what's going on with those companies. Because again, always love learning from you guys. Always love talking shop with you guys. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.